When Pip and Emma returned after their refit, they felt much better. They were rather glad to be kept busy travelling to and from London. They didn't want to go anywhere near the Olympic torch. Another engine who felt the same was Henry, but for quite different reasons. "I don't understand what all the fuss is about," he grumbled one day at the sheds. "It's just an oversized candle that you usually see on a birthday cake." Duck and Oliver were indignant. "What the fuss is about? An oversized candle? Why, Henry, I would have thought better of you," spluttered Duck. "It just seems pointless," Henry continued. "It's travelled all that way from Greece just to be carted around the UK. It'll probably go out thanks to the awful weather we have here." "It's not pointless at all," snapped Duck. "It's what the Olympic flame represents is what's important. And what does it represent?" Duck let off steam crossly. "Don't bother wasting steam over him," huffed Oliver. "He wouldn't understand." Henry snorted. "Just remember who you're talking to, little tank engine." "My fireman has won a competition to be torchbearer when it arrives at the big station," explained Oliver. "I don't want him listening to your grumpy drivel. It'll put him right off." "With a face like yours, Henry, the Olympic torch might put itself out," said Duck firmly. Henry roared steam from his cylinders furiously and thundered away indignantly. On the Little Western, Oliver was helping with engineering work. Half of the branch line was closed due to the rails being replaced by new ones. Oliver helped manoeuvre the crane wherever the workman needed it. Relaying track on a branch line is rather tricky, especially since it's only single track. Oliver had to shove flat trucks of new rails behind the crane. The crane would swing them round where the workman would fit them into place. Then the procedure would start again until the flat truck was empty and Oliver would go back for more. Sometimes the men would have to leave equipment and tools overnight, but soon this attracted thieves, and in the dead of night, cables and rails began to disappear. It was becoming a serious problem. It delayed work and the cost of replacing the rails soon grew. "These scrap metal thieves are becoming a nuisance," grumbled the inspector. "It's to catch one in the act we'd be wanting. It would deter others from stealing." Oliver thought long and hard about the problem, but not one good idea could be found. One morning, Oliver was waiting in the shed. The driver was impatiently blowing Oliver's whistle. "Where's that fireman?" he grumbled. Toad was standing close by. He wondered why Oliver had not left with the engineering train. "Excuse me, Mr. Oliver, but you should have left 15 minutes ago." "You're quite right, Toad," smiled Oliver. "My fireman ain't arrived yet. But I know why. It's because he's putting in every spare moment of training he can for when that torch arrives." At last Oliver's fireman came panting in. He climbed aboard the footplate and Oliver whistled goodbye to Toad as he departed. Once again, the workman discovered that more rails had gone missing. Oliver was most annoyed. "Stealing? Now that's pointless," he muttered to himself. The track laying recommenced. They were almost done. Oliver's fireman apologised to his engine. "I'm sorry, old boy, I was late again. I'll try and be earlier next time," he smiled. "That's all right, sir," replied Oliver kindly. "I knew it's for a good reason." Oliver soon told his fireman what Henry had said. The fireman laughed. "That silly big green engine ain't going to put me off. I've worked too hard to be told it's pointless. I'm getting faster, you know, no record breaking, but I've got on quicker over these past few weeks. I could be as fast as Usain Bolt." "In your dreams," teased the driver. Oliver and his crew laughed and joked until at last the track laying was almost complete. But it was getting late, and the decision was made to finish the line in the morning and to reopen the branch that afternoon. As the workmen walked tiredly to their coach, Oliver thought he heard something. He glanced from side to side until at last he heard a rustling in a bush, close to where the workmen had left their tools. A man sneaked out and began grabbing cables and tools frantically. "Thief!" shouted Oliver. The thief began to flee but was caught in no time at all by the fireman. He had sprung into action and quickly had hold of him. Oliver was amazed by it all. "Cor blimey! Oh, that training you've done has come in handy," chuckled Oliver. The thief was taken away by the police, and to Oliver and the workmen's delight, no more tools and equipment had been stolen through the night. The the work was finished and the Little Western was reopened. But for a long time afterwards, Oliver and Duck took great delight in talking about it all in front of Henry. "Well, Oliver," chortled Duck loudly, "for something that's completely pointless, the Olympic torch is sure to be in safe hands." Henry thought that for Great Western Engines they were being very immature indeed.